Hello and welcome to the first episode of Beneath the Noise podcast, an open space where feelings have no gender. With me today, I have got Tom Taylor. Hello, Tom.
Hi.
A fellow gym goer. I mean, much more strenuous than what I am. I mean, a self-made adventure athlete,
Thank
a
you.
huge advocate for men's mental health, who is currently attempting a world record. Welcome, Tom.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you
me.
so much for joining me today for the first ever episode. How are you feeling?
A little bit nervous, but
Yeah.
we'll just go with it and just
Same.
see what happens.
To be fair, you were probably one of the first people that I'd thought of to come on to the podcast just because of what I'm seeing on like your Instagram
Okay.
and things like that. What you're doing, I think, is absolutely incredible.
I'm just trying to get the message out there because,
Yeah.
like you said, a lot of guys just don't
Yeah,
speak, do they? And
absolutely.
that's
I mean,
just
I'm
what-
in awe at your workouts. I mean, I thought I worked out pretty tough, but you are just like insane. Like your strength, your, dedication to everything is just wild. So,
Thank you.
well done, you. So tell us a bit more about yourself, Tom.
Like I said, I'm Tom Taylor, 31. I'm a dad of two. I like to basically go to the gym and work out, and I've kind of found myself, that's kind of been like my go-to for everything.
Mhm.
And like getting out into like the mountains and stuff like that. That's really helped me, I think.
Mhm,
Just
definitely.
being out in nature. I think it's probably better when you get out there with people, but obviously with the kind of training and stuff that I'm doing,
Yeah.
not a lot of people want to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm going out a lot on my own.
I think sometimes though, training by yourself, I personally do prefer to do that. Not everyone does because they don't feel motivated, but I like to have my own space and just like switch off a little bit and kind of do my own thing without
Yeah.
outside noise, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
I get that. But then sometimes it's nice to have a little bit of that company,
No,
isn't
100%.
it?
I'm completely the same. Like throughout my training journey, most of my training sessions have been like solo.
Yeah.
But when I do get the opportunity to train with somebody, it's a whole new level, isn't
Yeah.
it? Like you're able to push yourself a little bit more. You can do like the what are they called? Like forced reps and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So I feel like it definitely got its benefits training with an extra person as well.
But also you end up just talking too much and then nothing gets done then as well. So it's kind of like,
Yeah, I suppose it all depends on the people, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Who you're training
definitely.
with and that.
So the mission that you're doing, tell us a little bit more in detail about that.
Okay, so basically, the whole thing came about because I like to push myself in the first place anyway. Like I love to challenge my body and try and do things that are just like out there. I attended a fitness event which was held by Jim King and Ross Edgley. I don't know if you know Ross Edgley.
No.
So he's an ultra endurance athlete, and he's like he swam around the whole of Great Britain,
Oh, wow.
swam around the whole of Iceland like recently.
Oh, wow.
So he's like one of my like inspirations basically. And he held this fitness event basically, which is called the Stoic Games, and it was partnered with Jim King. And so I went to the first one, which was in February, and I just like obviously I trained up for it and stuff. Like I was hoping to do better than I did, but I was ill on the day that I actually done it.
You
so
still
I was
went
like,
and done it
yeah,
though, didn't
exactly.
you?
So
You know.
I scored quite well for somebody being quite
Amazing.
ill. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But being surrounded by all them athletes and like people who's just achieving like incredible things, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just inspired me to kind of like, what can I do next?
Yeah.
And I've like, obviously I've been involved in like mental health and stuff because I used to work in a rehab facility for men with mental health, and I've done that for 5 years. So like, I kind of had like a bit of a background with mental health anyway, and I was just like, so when my lad was, so obviously I've got two kids, so when my lad was 6, he had surgery because he's got scoliosis.
Oh, wow.
So he's got rods put in his back, but with the first surgery that he had, he developed sepsis.
Oh, wow.
And he almost died. So he was like 24 hours. Obviously, like I hate talking about it because it always makes me like
No,
choke
of
up and
course,
stuff.
yeah, I get that.
But I kind of realised that like men are just like, you've always like there's this persona basically that you've always got to be the strong one.
Yeah.
You like that's the masculine energy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like you've got to be the strong one in the relationship, and that's like kind of where I've realised. Like I just put two and two together, and I was just like, if he can kind of get through something like that, what can I get through?
Yeah.
And
it's a bit of inspiration
do you know
for
what I mean?
you, really.
Yeah. So that's why like the whole thing came about. So yeah. So basically, I'm attempting a Guinness World Record. So I had to apply through Guinness, and then there's been like a lot of back and forth and stuff.
Yeah.
So originally I was doing a 45 kg sandbag.
Yeah.
So I was holding a free weight. I can take it off, put it on as and when I kind of needed a break or whatever. Guinness came back and said basically they can't recognise it as a record if it's a free weight. So I've had to go then and put it in a rucksack, which is so much harder than actually with the sandbag on my shoulders.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically I'll be attempting the 6 paths of Snowdon, so the Snowdon 6, carrying 45.5 kg, but I've actually put the whole weight in it now and it's 45.7, and then plus the bag as well.
Wow.
And yeah, basically doing like a mountain marathon rucking with that much weight basically.
Yeah. Is it just you doing it, or have you got?
So just me doing it. I'm the only person allowed to obviously touch the for the record to count.
Yeah.
I'm the only person allowed to touch the sandbag.
Okay, so it's quite strict then.
But I can have like support teams with like food and water and whatever.
Oh, okay, brilliant. Yeah, you don't think of things like that, do you?
No,
like, oh,
exactly.
Get it done, but it's like, well, actually, I need to fuel myself as well along the way.
So like that's probably going to be the main challenge, because like obviously rucking 45.5 kg for 26.2 miles is tough in itself, but obviously with the elevation gain and everything.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot to it then, isn't there?
Yeah, so like I'm going to be paying him probably 12,000 calories, something like that, just in the window that I'm doing it, do you know what I mean?
So, and is it in the one day that you're doing it?
Yeah. So 20, obviously time capped to 24 hours, so if I do it past 24 hours then it won't count type thing, but I've got to get it done before that. So yeah, that's kind of like the mission. And like I said, like I met up with, I don't know if you've seen on Instagram when I done so the Team Resilience guys was doing like Everest on Snowdon over 3 days, and I met up with them on the Saturday to do 2 ascents with them and get some training and stuff in with myself. And they was doing that day. I was raising money for a children's charity called Jolly Josh.
Okay, brilliant.
And that's for like disabled children and stuff like that, basically.
Yeah.
And so I met up with them, and I've basically made some like mates for life, basically doing a challenge with them. Do you know what I mean?
Which is such a
and they're
positive,
going to come to my event and help me and take water and whatever else that I need. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely, yeah.
So yeah, it's something that I'm looking forward to. Like,
good for you. So obviously, generally spreading awareness around men's mental health, but also there's also a personal reason there as to why you're 100%. Doing it as well, like your little boy. Which I'm sorry to hear about that, obviously. So going into statistics, which are just, to me, devastating, and I had no knowledge of this. I knew mental health was a big, problem, but I didn't realise how severe the men's side of it actually was. So suicide is the biggest case of death in the UK for men under the age of 50, which is wild.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I never knew that. 4 in 5 suicides are men, and that accounts for up to 70% of suicides in general. Again, crazy. Over 14 men take their own life every day in the UK.
Yeah.
I just think it's so alarming, and it's climbing as well. It's getting a lot worse.
The other thing as well is, like, obviously I know your history and stuff with Dava.
Yeah.
But like nobody kind of speaks about that. So the other statistic to that, like to add to that one, is so men who have recently become new fathers are 10 times more likely to commit suicide. So,
and that was, in my case,
exactly.
Our experience is in, like, we just had a baby, and, I would never have thought postpartum, because men do sometimes get forgotten about, don't they, when it comes to...
When you think about, like, postnatal, like, trauma and stuff like that, you always think about the woman, don't you, and everything that they've gone through, and it can 100% be the opposite. It could be the men. Like, you just don't know, but I think men hide it a lot more, and I think they find it easier to hide it than women.
I would never have thought of that, as you just said then, post-traumatic stress from having a baby. And I always wonder if that was in relation to him being in the army, suffering PTSD, and then can it be a little bit, tied in together, There
was probably, like, obviously I didn't know him, and forgive me if, like, I get this wrong or whatever, but I don't know whether the correlation between the guilt of going into army and leaving your baby there with you, like basically like single parenting for like however long he had to leave it for. I don't know if that played an effect, you know what I mean?
He'd already left the army, to be fair, but he was contemplating going back in. But he did feel, this is what I've been told, obviously, since everything happened, that he was and ahhing about it, feeling guilty for leaving me with the baby. So it was a little bit back and forth, which he never obviously discussed with me. I think he was probably a little bit worried too, just in case 100%. I was like, you know, but that wouldn't have been the case. But in a man's mind, you know, they obviously think a little bit differently, don't they? So, but you
and
wouldn't
that's the other thing as well. Like, I do feel like men can open up a little bit more to other men. Like, I've found that in my case anyway. Like, I'm able to kind of like speak more openly to other men. Not even necessarily because like there's a feeling of less judgment there or anything. I think it's just because we're kind of on the same wavelength with the way that we think. So we kind of, if we ever have an issue or we ever have a problem or whatever, we know that we can kind of go to them guys and you know that you're not being stupid for thinking that, if that makes sense.
No, definitely. I agree with that. And I think women as well can do a little bit more. I mean, on my like healing journey from what's happened, I've learned to, you know, think maybe I could be a little bit more approachable. And what I mean by that is I can be a little bit loud, I can be a little bit confident, and I can be a little bit, you know, opinionated, not in a negative way, but just in a confident sort of way. And I think sometimes for a man that can be a little bit intimidating, can't it? Oh, I can't go to her because, you know, she's like a little bit... Do you know what I mean? It's kind of...
The thing is that like all those kind of attributes that you've like said, they're probably what attracted them in the first place. So I wouldn't think like negatively about yourself that way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think, I mean, again, I look at, you go through the ifs, the buts and the maybes, don't you? And, you know, kind of try and figure out like what went wrong or what I could have changed. But then, you know, realistically, it's kind of... I'm not trying to learn from it. I'm trying to change a few things about myself, not because I think I need to change, but maybe be a little bit more gentle in certain aspects to myself and to other people in general, because everyone is going through something that you don't quite know about. So some of the biggest causes of men's mental health, number one, financial pressure, which I can 100%, you know, say.
The thing is as well, like, I think men... like naturally just want to be a provider, even if like their woman or whatever earns more than them, they still want to be the provider. Do you know what I mean?
No, definitely. And I think for me, I mean, I've always been very independent. I've always, you know, done my own thing with money. I've always kind of made sure that I was financially secure, because just something that my dad taught me growing up, you know, not to rely just in case you do get yourself in a position where, you know, you could get yourself stuck. But for me, I don't think it matters who earns what in a relationship.
No.
If the woman earns more or the man earns more, that's okay. And, you know, you just do what you do together as a team.
I get you.
It's not always financial. 100%. You can be a provider in terms of, you know, trust. You can be emotionally a provider. And that, to me, means more than what, you know, money does personally. But not, a man won't see it that way, will they? They will think, oh, you know, I'm a failure.
I think it's not even just the aspect of just the money. It's like, it's the, like, a man, I know obviously by experience and stuff, you want to be the provider, not just in the financial aspect, but in every aspect. Do you know what I mean? You want to make sure that like your woman feels safe, basically.
But I think as well out there, a lot of women do have the mindset of, well, a man should pay for me because, you know, that's the way that it should be. And that's, I think we're going into like a generation now where everything's changing, and it's okay to change. It's okay for a female to be a higher provider, you know, bring him a little bit more income. It's okay for a woman to pay for a meal. It's okay for a woman to, you know, do the things that men are supposed to do. You know, it's a two-way thing, isn't it?
The mad thing is though, because obviously we've kind of grew up like at the back end of where the man used to always provide and stuff. And now we're kind of transitioning into that new generation of people. But I think obviously some of them certain like embedded things will always be there, won't they? Do you know what I mean?
But I think as well, men need to, you know that it's okay for a woman to, you know, but again, I think in the mindset of a man, it's like you say, it's still going to be that little, you know, not everyone's going to think like that, are they?
And like, like I'm just speaking from experience and stuff, because like when I grew up with a single mum, and like we didn't have the best financial upbringing. We didn't have the best like anything. Do you know what I mean?
But she made it work, didn't she? She made it happen.
Yeah. And like, but growing up in that household, obviously, like I had to start providing and stuff like from a young age, to help support the family and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like at one point we did get evicted from one of our houses, and we was homeless. So luckily she had a friend, and her friend let us come and stay with her for 6 months. But seeing that growing up, you never want to kind of be in that position again.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like I obviously I never want to get into that position again, but I want to make sure that I'm like everything that I need to be in order to not get into like that kind of situation again. Do you know what I mean?
And it can happen to the best of us, realistically, kind of. We can all find ourselves in a situation where it's like, oh, you know, we're a little bit stuck, and that's okay. It's how you kind of, you know, get yourself not out of it, but work towards, you know, trying to make it better. Baby steps, you know, a little bit of progress each day, no matter what your situation is, and
I think
that acceptance.
One of the most
well.
important things as well is like, you've got to sometimes take a step back and be like, well, actually, this is how far I've come already. Yeah. That's one thing that I like to do, is like I reflect. And that helps me kind of move forward, because it's so easy to kind of get stuck in the here and now, and like I'm not where I want to be right now.
And to compare as well to other people.
Yeah, it's like, that's the other thing, social media and stuff, isn't it? Yeah. But it's like looking back compared to where you started off. Yeah. You're a million miles away from where you used to be, do you know what I mean? Yeah.
It's having that mindset though, isn't it? And again, it's hard not to compare yourself to other people. I do it all the time in the gym. I'm like, oh God, look at her. She's got the most amazing glutes, and there's me. But I'm like, do you know what? That's okay. Like, you've got maybe got a better, you know, better shoulders than it. You know, just little things like that. And girls, I think, are probably the worst for it.
This is why I like to have like breaks and stuff from social media. So like sometimes I'll just disappear off social media and just take a break. I think that's very healthy, and like I think a lot of people need that, because when you're just consumed by your phone all the time, or like social media or whatever all the time, it's so easy to get trapped.
100%. Next, work pressure. I think that was definitely the case in, you know, our situation, was that he was in a job where, you know, wasn't paying very well. He wanted to try and find a better job. And he did try, God love him, he really did. But yeah, just the workload in general, you know, working 50 hours a week to bring home money that is just covering bills, and then nothing left at the end of it. Yeah. You know,
and the other thing as well, like he's come from the army, which is like
higher paid job.
It not only that, but it's like you've got your guys around you all the time.
Absolutely.
Like you've got that support system right
feel
there
like a job
all the time.
In a way, because you know, it's kind of like you say, you've got a lot of people there with you all the time to kind of keep your spirits a little bit up, isn't it?
Then coming out of that into Civvy Street, obviously that's obviously what they call it. And not having that anymore.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I can imagine takes its toll.
Yeah, definitely. Childhood trauma. Now, I've been to therapy in the past, and one of the things that come up is that when you're talking in therapy in general, peeling back the layers of the root cause of a problem, and statistics say most of it comes from childhood trauma. Yeah.
So I actually currently work in children's like social care and stuff. So children's residential. So yeah, I've seen a lot of childhood trauma, and I don't know if you know this, but when you're experienced to childhood trauma, it actually affects the way that your brain develops. So you can actually visibly see the scars from childhood trauma on the brain as you develop.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I've looked into, not studied the brain in terms of that, but just looked into things about, you know, like mental health, and, you know, it is, you think, oh no, well, I couldn't do that to myself, or I wouldn't feel that way, but the brain can get sick, can't it?
Yeah, 100%.
And that can start from, you know, childhood, like you say, but when the brain gets sick, sometimes it's hard to come back from it, isn't it?
Yeah, so another thing as well, it's like, if you got to think of it from this perspective as well, it's like, if you're constantly in that fight or flight mindset, like from a young age, like all you've ever known is fight or flight, then what is normal to you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
You're always looking for that like escape, or you're always looking for what like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. A certain part of your brain can stop working as well, can't it? When it comes to like mental health. I didn't read too much into it, but I think signals is it can stop going to a particular part of your brain.
Might be the amygdala.
Yeah. Basically stop sending positive messages, and then everything is kind of like negative, like a dark cloud, and you know, you just don't think the same anymore. Everything's just like I say, a black cloud, and just, you know, there's no way that they can see out of that, you know, really tough time as well, which is quite sad, because I think the brain, we've all got it. We've all got a heart, it all beats the same way. We've all got lungs that breathe the same way. The brain is such a, you know, magnificent thing, and it's
you like, that's the other thing as well, is like, you can work out your body as much as you want, can't you? But if you're not actually like helping your brain,
how can it be so different for everyone though? It's the same thing, isn't it? Like I say, like our heart beats the same. How can, you know, we all have a brain, but then
all from your experience.
It's crazy, isn't it? I just think when I was younger, I wanted to be a brain surgeon. Yeah, but no way could I have got past my science GCSE. But that's another.
See, that's the other thing though as well. Is like, if you grow up the same as like your siblings or whatever, like I know me and my brother, we grew up the exact same. He views the world completely different to how I view the world. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, me and my sister are complete opposites, and we obviously got brought up the exact same way. And yeah, it's wild to think how different, you know, we can be in similar situations as well. Alcohol and substance abuse is another one as well. When you see a lot of celebrities that have took their own life, a lot of it I've seen that, you know, comes when they've been under the influence of alcohol. And again, that does, you're not thinking rational, are you?
No.
Under the influence, as we know, you know, I've never got myself thankfully in a state where I've not been, you know, thinking irrational. But, you know, again, that's another, I mean, I don't know too much about the alcohol.
I'm not 100%,
I don't know many people that have like taken their own life.
I don't know too much about like under the influence stuff. But I'm pretty sure when you do take any kind of drug or any kind of alcohol or whatever, I mean, might be getting this wrong, butchering it or whatever. But I'm pretty sure you basically put yourself back into that fight or flight. You're stressing the brain, you're releasing cortisol. And that's obviously just going to have a negative effect on you.
I think my personal opinion, a lot of the time it's unintentional, isn't it? Because you are under the influence, you're not thinking straight. And it's accidental a lot of the time, which is...
And a lot of it can probably be like your persona as well. It's like you want to kind of portray to the world that you are that. Do you know what I mean?
And
or
the come down, you can have come downs on drugs. The come down can be extremely, you know, depressing, can't it? Again, the withdrawals, as they say, from both. Again, which is, you know, I've never experienced it myself, but there's people out there.
The same,
but a lot of people as well, funnily enough, turn to alcohol and substance abuse because of maybe a childhood trauma that they've obviously grown up with and trying to block it out, which again, it's sad, isn't it?
No, 100%.
This is a bit of a taboo subject, but I'm going to say it anyway. Weaponising children, I think, is a massive part of men's mental health. So, you know, previous relationships.
I'd agree with that, I mean, I don't personally have any experience with it, but I've seen impact.
Yeah, definitely. You know, men being stopped from seeing their own children, again, mainly because of control, narcissism, because of, you know, ex-partners. Again, that is quite a... I'd say it counts for quite a lot of men now. Not majority, but I mean, a lot of men, especially on social media, are fighting to see their children. Or women, you know, are blackmailing with their children for money. They want, you know, financially, you know, dependent on the man. And if you don't, you know, pay me what you owe me, you're not seeing your children. Or I want this, I want that. I know men that are still paying the mortgage on their ex-partner's house. And I mean, I'm all for men should provide for their children, absolutely.
No, 100%.
But sometimes, I mean, how much is too much, you know?
Yeah. At the other, like, on the flip side of that as well, is like that man also needs to live. Like, he also needs to have his own life as well.
Absolutely.
And like, when he's got the kids, does that then affect how much money he's paying the woman?
Yeah.
Or
does
he then keep a little bit more so that he can spend them while he's got them? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, for me, I know, like I say, all men should provide financially, but if you're in a situation where you're struggling yourself, you know, I think a lot more women could be accepting of that as well, as when you're struggling. So if you can only give me £20 a week, that's all you can give me. Not that they want to, but it's because they physically can't give you any more because they are just completely stretched out financially.
Yeah,
and they
I
have
think it is a tricky one as well, like, isn't it? Because I know, like, I'm just going to fight in the woman's corner a second, but like, some men can kind of play the system where they earn a lot more than they say that they do.
Oh, absolutely.
And that kind of stuff as well. So
it
definitely does play a big part of it. But if everyone can kind of just like nip it in the bud and just be like, right,
help each other out.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, my daughter's dad.
There doesn't need to be malicious intent around any of it, does there?
You just kind of do what you do together as a team, don't you? My daughter's dad was in and out of work, and you know, he said to me, "Listen, I can't really afford to give you anything for a while," and I was like, "That's absolutely fine. When you're back on your feet, we'll pick back up again." You know, because I'm not going to kick him while he's down. I'm not going to demand money that he hasn't got.
No, exactly.
I mean, you know, it's kind of get back on your feet and we'll discuss it at a later time. I would never demand or blackmail or, you know, well, if you don't pay me this and you're not seeing, you know, it doesn't work like that. Life's tough as it is, so why not do what we can together and make life a little bit easier, you know, for
especially like
for
the economy and stuff that we live in. It doesn't allow people to kind of be able to have both. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't allow the person to be able to be like, right, I can pay you everything that you need and still support myself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, absolutely. Another statistic that I've seen was nearly 50% of men have never spoken to anyone about their mental health. And a few reasons why. Again, there's that negative stigma, isn't there? As if you do, you are, you know, deemed as weak. Too embarrassed. Men shouldn't talk. And going back to the army, I think when you're in the army, you know, it is drilled into you, isn't it? To kind of, you know, be tough. Put this front on and that you are, again, not weak. And I
think another part of that as well, though, is like for me personally, I didn't have that father figure around when I was younger. So I didn't know kind of how, like, I had to like teach myself, do you know what I mean? How to kind of be a man. And then with that comes like, you've got to shoulder all the responsibility of being a man and that kind of stuff. But I am a big advocate for people like speaking out and stuff. And like, I've found that like when you kind of meet like a group of people, like for men specifically, when you meet like a group of people that like, it doesn't even have to be like that you're talking like about your feelings or whatever. It just needs to be like you've got people there in your corner, do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
And like, so that's kind of like what I found with like, obviously I've been doing a lot of my training and stuff like solo, so there's a lot of time to just like be on your own and think, and I'm an overthinker of things anyway, but getting out there with people and like when I met the Team Resilience guys and being able to just talk and stuff on the mountain, it just puts things into perspective a little bit where like, you needed that at that time, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
But I think, because obviously men, they've all got their own lives and stuff. Like I know, like I've got a very close circle of friends, but I know that like they've got their lives, I've got my life. So I don't really get to see them or speak to them as much as I'd like to. Do you know what I mean?
And would you feel like because they do have their own family, you don't want to burden them sometimes with And again, it's that stigma, isn't it, of like being a burden to people, which obviously is not the case. But like it's naturally, like you thought that without even thinking about it, then didn't you? Would you say you find it easier speaking with a male compared to a female?
I think you speak to females about different things. Do you know what I mean? When you're speaking to the lads, even if you're speaking about a touchy subject, you can have a laugh about it. Do you know what I mean? That in itself is worth its weight in gold.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people, like a lot of men, are just on their own, and that's why I think like there's a lot of suicide and stuff. If they can just be surrounded by comrades or like just other men, like a group, I feel like the male suicide rate will just be like
Yeah.
a lot less than what it is
Yeah.
now.
So why do you think men do feel a little bit more intimidated speaking to a female? Do you think it's because women can be a little bit more emotional? Or do you think it's because, again, they just want to maintain that strong, you know, I'm not weak,
Yeah.
I need to be like the strong one in the relationship? And
That probably plays a part, yeah, 100%.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But again, and I think as well, women can be a bit more inviting and make effort to, I mean, things that we used to do. We used to say, how was your day today? Little things like that can, you know, can
Yeah,
really like
100%,
lift someone's
yeah.
spirits up, can't they? And I
Yeah.
think that's quite important. And I think a lot of women as well could do a little bit better in terms of little things like that. Asking how their day was, or do you need any help with this? Or,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
and
yeah.
men could too, obviously,
Yeah,
you know, because you know
100%,
how
yeah.
men can be sometimes, even like around the house and that, and it's like, can you help me? You know, but little things like that can definitely, you know, maybe he's had a bad day at work or they've had a bad day in general, asking how their day is. It's like, oh, okay, she's interested, so I can sit down and talk to her now.
I think with like guys kind of and females and stuff, I wouldn't even like necessarily like need to open up a lot to a woman, but just
Yeah.
being able to have her like push me or
Yeah.
like support me in like whatever I'm after, do you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Mhm.
Even if it's from afar or the back, like
Yeah.
just in the background,
Yeah,
having that one person behind you just like pushing you forward.
yeah,
I think that in itself is
Yeah.
like, that's all a man would need, do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? They don't even necessarily need to talk about their feelings
Yeah.
all the time or like from time to time.
yeah,
If they've got like lad mates and then they've got a woman behind them and it's just like pushing them forward and not
Yeah.
like sniding them or anything like
yeah,
that, then
definitely. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, most men as well with mental health hide it from their partners.
Mhm.
And that was definitely the case with me. I had no idea in any way, shape, or form. I couldn't even pick out a day where I'd go, wow,
yeah,
you know, I didn't like the way he was that day. Didn't get a good feeling from
yeah,
it.
yeah,
I mean, the only things I can think of is like little things like car breaking down and stressing
Yeah.
him out a little bit. But even when he was stressed, he wasn't stressed. He didn't show that
Yeah.
emotion. It was always happy, always smiling. So it was pretty blindsiding
Mhm.
for me in particular
Yeah, yeah.
because I didn't know of a previous struggle with mental health either, which there was. He hid everything from me, which again, a lot of men do, don't
Yeah,
they?
yeah, yeah.
And someone said it's like a skill to be able to hide something so heavy
Mhm.
so well from family, partner.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
was with him every single day and he hid it immaculately,
Mhm.
you know, which to me is like a skill, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's crazy.
There's
how-
there's a like, I feel like there might be a little bit of like imposter syndrome there as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where like he's just had a family, and like, does he feel worthy to have that family? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know from like when my lad obviously had the surgery and stuff, for a long time I kind of felt like a rubbish dad because even though it wasn't my fault what had happened to him and like the way that he was, I felt
It's out
like
of your control, isn't it?
yeah, it was out of my control. But like from the minute he was born, one thing I said to him was, I'll make sure nothing ever hurts you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, makes me choke up a little bit.
It's okay.
Yeah, so like, you never want to see your kid
Oh, yeah.
in that situation. Do you know what I mean? So I felt like one of the worst dads in the world.
Yeah.
Because like, even though things was happening to him that was out of my control,
Yeah.
I wanted to be able to protect him from that. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely. I think as well, that might have been the case with Dapper as well, because obviously Rome was born. Rome was born completely unexpectedly. We weren't expecting him to be born for another 5 weeks.
wow.
And it was on the Sunday and we were down the arcade and I'd not felt him all day and I felt a little bit, something's not quite right here. And then we ended up going to the hospital and just to be checked over, and they literally said to me, right, put me on the monitor with the heartbeat, and his heart rate was really low.
All right.
And the next thing, within 15 minutes, a doctor come in and said, right, you're going to surgery. We need to do a C-section now. The baby's really, really poorly.
Wow.
And that was going from like one extreme to another. And yeah, he was born within the hour. Everything was so rushed and so quick and very, very, very traumatic. No time to process it at all. And he was panicking, but on the inside, I think, you know,
Yeah.
not quite knowing
Hiding
what was
it.
going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not experienced this type of like, you know, he's got another daughter, and that was, I think, a natural birth. So the C-section was not something that he's experienced before, which is scary. I was crying, so I was like, panicking, scared, and obviously the baby was really poorly. And then when he was born, again, the C-section itself was absolutely fine. But then when he obviously was born, he was, again, quite poorly. I literally was 5 minutes with him for a picture, and then he got whisked away more or less straight away. They had to do a little procedure on him and took him to neonatal. And he was up there poorly for quite a few weeks. But even after the birth, everything was so quick. He had to go up with the baby to get him settled into neonatal. So we had someone with him. I had to get wheeled into to recovery. And I was there till 9 a.m. the next morning. So I didn't see Rome from 11 o'clock at night until 9 a.m. the next morning. And Davo went home, come back the next morning. And even I think about like him going home that night, processing what's just happened. Like, wow, we weren't expecting it, even obviously being in hospital for a few weeks with Rome, because he was obviously really poorly still, my mood started to dip a little bit. One, I just had a baby. Postpartum, as you know, is quite a low time anyway. I was breastfeeding, which I'm sorry to talk about breastfeeding, but breastfeeding is one of the hardest things I've ever experienced in my entire life, physically, mentally, emotionally. Davo stayed in the hospital with me, and then he'd go to work the next day.
See, that's the other thing as well. It's like he didn't even have, like, he's going to a job that he doesn't like, to a job that doesn't even pay very well.
Yeah.
And his baby's in the hospital.
And if he took a day off, he didn't get paid.
Yeah.
So Rome was born on the Sunday, and it got to Tuesday night, and I said, right, you need to go to work, because I felt bad knowing that he wasn't getting paid being in work. So I said, listen, I'm okay. Go back to work. Come stay at the hospital overnight time. But in the day, you go to work and, go and get... Because I knew that although he didn't show it, it would be stressing him out, thinking, oh, I'm not getting any money.
No,
not that he thinks about money, but I didn't want him to be financially, any worse off than what needs to be. So I was in hospital for...
That's like the last place any man would ever want to be.
Oh, yeah, exactly. No, 100%. And he'd FaceTime me all the time.
But at the same time, like, he knows that it's, like, necessary and, like, he has to do it.
And it's that pressure again, isn't it? I need to be earning money. I can't be off work. And again, it's a lot of, like, emotions all at once, isn't it? He's worried about me, worrying about his finances, worrying about himself, the baby, everything. It's quite a lot in, a short space of time. So, yeah, I think my mood, like I say, was pretty low for a good couple of weeks after the baby and being stuck in hospital. And I always feel really guilty about things like, he'd text me from work, how are you? How's the baby? And I'd be like, oh, I'm just not feeling okay. I'm feeling really low. The baby won't stop feeding. Like, breastfeeding is like every 10 minutes. It is. There's no routine with it at all. It's called cluster feeding.
My little one, Isabella, she was breastfed.
It's hard work. It really is. And I was away from my other children as well. I've got 3 other children, haven't I? And one of my children is autistic. My youngest, which is my son. And he's never been away from me for that long before. And he really, really, really struggled being away from me. And I struggled being away from him too. So being away from my children for, 2 weeks, it was a lot. Transitioning them back to home life as well. And again, I think my mood stayed quite low. And I think about maybe he couldn't have come to me at that time because he probably thought, I can't go and speak to about how I'm feeling.
It's an extra burden on top of you,
because
you know
she's
what
just
I mean?
had a baby, she's feeling low in herself. And then I think, oh my God, all that time, there's me moaning. He'd message me, how are you? I'd be like, oh, and I'd moan. Oh, I hate being stuck in here. I just want to go outside. I'm tired, I've had no sleep.
I think, like, hindsight's a wonderful thing though, isn't it? Like, obviously, if you'd have known, like, kind of what you know now back then, you probably would have been a little bit... Do you know what I mean?
And I feel guilty for that as well.
You can't, because you've also got to live in the moment and be present.
And naturally, when you're in a relationship, you do moan to your partner, don't you? I'm tired, oh God, I'm not having a good day. But would never have thought, well, I can't say that, because if I do, then it's going to make him feel 10 times worse. But I didn't know at the same time. I would never have known. And like I say, naturally after baby anyway, nothing's perfect. As in, home life's a little bit scatty, as they say. Sleep deprived, no sleep, new baby. There's a lot going on, isn't there? In terms of like feelings, emotions, Again, I look back at when I've analysed it and thought, oh, I can't believe I was moaning over all these silly things when he was going through so much, and I didn't know.
No, okay, yeah.
And I felt selfish, thinking, how could I have not known? How could I be sat there moaning? Then I had to train my mind to think, Kelly, you just had a baby and you just had major surgery as well. A C-section is no joke, by the way.
No, exactly.
I was in a lot of pain. I was having to see
it's
my other
amazing
children.
That you, like, do you feel like you suffered quite a lot with like mental health at that time, or?
When I look back, I definitely noticed my mood getting quite low, and that was purely because I've been in hospital stuck for a couple of weeks. Coming home, I barely left the house because I was constantly breastfeeding.
Yeah.
I was stuck to the couch all the time with the baby. I didn't see friends. I was cutting myself off a little bit. I was getting quite irritable at home. And I look back again now, feeling guilty, thinking, God, that week I was a little bit moody and I was a little bit, which wasn't my usual self. I'm usually quite, chatty. I'm very approachable. I'm very, happy. And but at that time, I was quite, quite moody, a bit irritable. Things were
like shut off type
doing
thing.
my head in a little bit. The kids were getting on my nerves. Everyone was getting on my nerves. And I think, oh my God, did he think her energy's a little bit off here? Because obviously he took his own life 5 weeks after Rome was born. So we were only home
it's
for
so
2
close
weeks.
As well, isn't it? Yeah.
So close, yeah. Sorry.
It's all right. Take your time.
So yeah, I mean, a lot happened in a short space of time, that was 2 weeks being home. We were home for 2 weeks. And
have you been to like therapy and stuff since?
No.
No. Do you feel like you need to?
I feel like therapy's not for me. I feel like something like this does me good, talking to people.
Yeah.
And I can openly speak to other people about how I'm feeling, about, anything that I'm going through. Whereas a lot of other people struggle with that. I'm quite open in that way. So, I mean, keeping busy helps. The gym, as you know, massively helped me. And I went back a bit too soon, as in like clearance from the doctor from post C-section. But I thought, I know my own body. And I know, like, what's the worst thing happen? Oh, my scar opens up. Okay, let's go back to the hospital and get it fixed up again. But that got me through. I mean, there was a point where I couldn't even get out of bed. And I was still breastfeeding, by the way.
Yeah.
And going through the grief, trying to breastfeed, trying to see my other children, just trying to...
Have you had, like, some support or...?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Definitely had some support. But I've been doing it in my own way.
Yeah.
Not in, like, society therapy type of way. Going to the gym an hour a day is my therapy. If I didn't have the gym these last few months, I would definitely decline massively. But again, it's hard to not blame yourself as his partner. How could I have not known? How could I not blame myself? That was my partner. I should have known. But I'll always carry that guilt and blame.
You can't know what you don't know, though. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
If nobody tells you, then there's nothing you can do about that.
And emotions are high, like I say, after a baby, naturally, without mental health being involved. So after a baby, emotions are all over the place, aren't they? It is. It's a lot. It's a big life change, isn't it? So
it just happens suddenly, doesn't it? Like one minute, like obviously you've already got 2 kids, but 1 minute you're not a parent, and then you are.
Absolutely. And I think as well, this sounds terrible, but Rome wasn't planned. So, there was discussions at the beginning about what do we do? Do we, move forward with the pregnancy? And then obviously now I don't regret any of it whatsoever. But I still had those mixed feelings of, oh, my whole life's about to change now. I don't know if I'm ready for it. It's not kind of what I wanted. But you just mold into it, don't you, naturally, I suppose. But I'm definitely learning at the moment to be a little bit kinder to myself in terms of not putting all the blame on myself.
No, 100%.
Because of my mood that week. Or, carrying any type of, guilt of putting all the blame on myself, I think. But naturally, I think as someone's partner who has took their own life, you're going to do that anyway.
No, I get you.
Because you should have known better.
Yeah.
But like you say, how could you know if you don't see anything, or it's not, brought to your attention, or you don't, it's hidden quite well from you.
Yeah. Thing is, as well, he probably would have told his mates more than he told you at that time. Do you know what I mean? I mean, obviously, like I said, don't know him, do I?
Yeah.
So.
He was a very, very private person. He was. Not in a bad way, just in a, I'm fine, And I look back and I think, God, he was just so precious and so lovely and kind. I was very protective over him. Because if someone ever, spoke to him a certain way or treated him a certain way. I didn't like that at all.
Yeah.
And naturally, again, with any partner, you got to stick up for your partner. If someone's speaking to them in a negative way or making them feel a certain way, absolutely not, no. Whereas I'm quite vocal like that to be like, no, that's not okay. But not everyone's like that. Some people don't speak up to maybe protect their own peace.
Yeah.
And peace is okay, isn't it? You know, choosing peace to not, in life, to not cause chaos is okay. And I'm learning to accept that now. You don't always have to pipe up or, you know, scream and shout.
I am a big advocate though for, like, if you do truly believe in something, then you should stand up for that. Yeah.
And again, I think I pressure myself with that to maybe, oh no, I should have kept my mouth shut. But then I think, well, actually, no, I'm just standing up for what I think is right. You know, and I don't like seeing anyone be treated, you know, any type of way in general life, you know. Life's hard and everyone just needs to be kind to each other because it really will make such a difference.
When you're born into this world, you was never handed a manual, was you? So it's like,
no, definitely
you just got to make your own way.
No, absolutely. Are there any aspects of your life that you struggle with now?
I don't really, not like struggle. I just feel like, for me, I'd probably just say that I'd need like kind of more, I don't need, but I don't know. I don't think so.
I'd probably say for myself, I definitely struggle with being on the social side of things, which I used to be quite social. And then obviously everything that happened, I kind of went in a little bit. So at the moment, I'm trying to be a little bit more on the social side, as in do things out my comfort zone, you know, and it's okay to talking to people, opening up a lot more than what I usually would. Routine as well, I struggle with massively. One thing that has definitely helped me through this whole grief journey is routine. Getting up, knowing what I'm doing that day, filling my days up. Little things like, I mean, I was feeling guilty for putting makeup on, for even going to the gym, for laughing. But again, all these little things, you know, contribute towards a full day of doing stuff, to be able to get up in the morning and have things to do. To help with that, you know, recovery and that healing process of not lying in bed.
The other thing as well is like having something to look forward to. So like for me, having like my world record that I'm going for, that's something to look forward to. So, but like in the big world of like people doing things, obviously I don't know if you know the statistics for like Olympians and stuff, but like once they've achieved what they've achieved, like they suffer with mental health massively because like you've got this amazing thing that you're looking forward to.
A big high.
This big high.
And then a big low.
And then, on the flip side of them big highs, you always have like a low, do you know what I mean? So expect them lows. But one thing that I'd say to like people in general is just like set a goal, go for it, but be willing to, like, once you've achieved that goal, take some time to relax. Enjoy the process of doing the thing that you like after. But and then like expect that like you need that rest time afterwards. It's okay to like take some time to yourself. And then go for the next thing that you're after. Do you know what I mean? Set a new goal.
I feel like that with like obviously it's charity night coming up on Saturday. I've been so go, getting everything ready, a big high, and then I'm worried about after that thinking I'm going to get that big low of like got nothing to do now. You know, and then I'm going to try and find something else to do.
The next thing,
So I can totally relate to that, to be fair.
No, 100%.
I'm all or nothing me. But I also generally, even before this happened, me keeping busy keeps my mental health in check. Absolutely. Getting up, going 100%, to work, 100%. Just keeping busy. Every single day. I think the weekend's the hardest for me because I feel like the world stops over weekends. There's no routine. You know, people are off work on a Sunday and I think, hurry up Monday, you know, just to get back to that, like,
to the routine
even like
and
bank
stuff.
holiday, I was like, roll on Tuesday because the world stopped for me.
You
know, trying to fill the days up of like, what do we do today? There's no routine now. And that's okay. Do you know of any access to support when needed? And if so, would you go and seek that support?
I probably would, I mean, obviously I'm doing the world record for a charity called Andy's Man Club, so.
I was, okay, brilliant.
Andy's Man Club, and Movember as well, so. Andy's Man Club, basically, they was founded, I think it was 2016, and basically, the founder of it, I think it was his brother or his cousin or something, actually committed suicide. was suffering badly with mental health, and so him and his family basically founded Andy's Man Club, and they basically provide like a safe space for like men to meet weekly. And just talk about like the feelings and stuff like that. And there's one set up in the Whittle actually.
I've got to say, is it local?
There's one local, yeah. I mean, there might be one in Liverpool as well, but they're all over the country, so it's quite big now. Like, and then obviously with Movember, obviously everyone knows what Movember do. But then the likes of like Calm and stuff like that, like there's things out there for people to seek support. But I don't think a lot of people know where to look.
I agree with that. I mean? And this sounds ridiculous, but if I was to want to know something, I'd just go on Google.
Yeah, exactly, I
mean, to obviously search local.
Yeah.
About what's available out there.
Yeah.
But I don't think everyone's got access to support, especially within like certain areas as well, which I think needs to be looked into a little bit more as well.
Yeah.
And more needs to be out there for men's mental health in general. Do you think men's mental health is being ignored?
I wouldn't say ignored. I just think that I think a lot of people now are trying to push it out there a bit more. But the statistics still aren't changing.
No,
Do you know what I mean?
Totally agree with that. So I was just about to say it's a lot more heard of now, but nothing's changing still, is it?
No.
I wonder why that is.
I don't know. I think
life's getting harder.
Yeah, I think when like the likes of my dad's era, when they was growing up, they was all taught to like it doesn't matter, do you know what I mean? Like, just get on with it type thing. Yeah,
basically.
So I feel like them men in general, they suffer a lot more than what they let on. But nobody knows, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just hide it a lot better than everybody else.
Very well.
And then I feel like the era that we're growing up in, we was kind of told to man up. But and then all this new stuff's coming out, and it's like, well, which one do you kind of follow? Should you man up or should you talk about it?
Absolutely,
you know what I mean?
It's a hard one, isn't
it? Yeah.
I mean, women, I think, are quite emotional. You know, hormones, everything. You know, I mean, you can always tell with me what my emotion is because I can't. I mean, I know I'm Botoxed up to death, but I can always still tell the expression on my face half the time. But again, I'm quite open about speaking about how I feel, whether it's standing up for myself, whether it's being upset. But not everyone's got, obviously, that mentality.
I get you.
And we're all different, and it's accepting that as well, isn't it? That we are all different, and it's okay.
And the other thing as well is, like, we don't want to bring up a new generation of the new lads suffering with mental health again, do you know what I mean? So it's like, if we can kind of lead from the front where we're talking about things, then maybe the new generation can be like, well, no, forget the old ways, do you know what I mean? Like, we actually matter and we actually can speak about ourselves as well, do you know what I mean?
Definitely how I'm raising my son to be. My son's very sensitive, so the smallest thing can really make him upset. He had his emotions well, but you always know when something's wrong because of he'll go in himself or he'll go quiet.
My lad's the same as well,
How old's your little boy?
He's 9.
Oh, same as my son,
and he's obviously on the pathway to finding out whether he's got autism. He's got it, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's something that I kind of kick myself for as well, though, sometimes, because like I might not be as sensitive to his feelings and stuff as I am my daughter. But that's something that I'm trying to learn as well.
Definitely.
Do you know what I mean?
It's all a learning curve, isn't it? And even with my little boy, like his dad was kind of like, nothing wrong with him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas I was a bit more, no, there is, and I think again, that's naturally a male and a female perspective, isn't it?
Yeah.
Women are a little bit more.
Well, growing up, we were never taught about like how to actually manage your emotions or like how to manage your feelings or anything. Do you know what I mean? It was always just like, you just get on with it.
No, definitely.
And like kids as well, for instance, was like seen but not heard type thing, wasn't he, back in our day? So it's like actually getting your voice back when you're an adult is completely mad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like that's one thing that I'm trying to obviously instill in my lad, that like if you truly believe in something, then you stand up for what you believe in.
Absolutely,
But again, like I might not be as sensitive to his feelings and stuff as what it could be. So like I said, I'm just learning. Yeah,
you are. I'm sure you're doing an amazing job. Of course, all you can do is try, isn't it? You know, autism now I think is definitely on the rise.
Yeah.
There's a lot more, children, adults even being diagnosed now. I mean, our journey with my little boy has been quite easy, and by that I mean we kind of got into the system at the right time before COVID hit, and he's had quite a lot of support. But I worry about him growing up high school
Yeah.
relationships. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think because he is so sensitive.
Kids can be cruel, can't they?
Yeah, and can he be a bit of a victim in a way of like a woman can be quite abusive to men as well, which is a thing, because he is so soft and he is so like, oh, okay, quite sensitive. I worry about him potentially being taken advantage of in relationships when he's older, if he's with a woman or a man. That worries me to think, oh God, I hope you don't.
I completely I completely get that as well. How old's your lad?
He's 9 as well.
Is he?
Yeah. Just turned 9. Yeah.
So I completely get that as well. Now I like think the same way.
It's
do you know
that
what I mean?
big wide world, isn't it?
But one thing that I'm trying to just like keep myself grounded with, like, is he's not there yet. Do you know what I mean? He's where he is right now.
It's that overthinking, isn't it? What about something that's not even happened yet? I do it all the time, and I'm like, oh God, what is? I'm like, oh my God, it's not even next week yet. Like, calm down, just relax. Like, take it day by day.
Let him enjoy his life now.
Yeah.
And we'll cross that bridge when it comes to it, I think.
Oh, growing up too quick. I hate it. Why do you think men don't speak about their mental health? Again, it's that stigma, isn't it? Of, men can't talk, they have to be the strong one.
Yeah, 100%.
I think as well, a lot of the time, have you seen Paddy the Baddy? Paddy, yeah, he's quite a big advocate for mental health, isn't he? I think he's lost
a couple of friends, hasn't he?
Yeah. And again, it's just having that circle, I think, a lot of the time that you can go and speak to.
Yeah.
And then being...
I think with a guy as well, like knowing that you've got somebody on the other end of the phone that will be willing to talk to you or will be willing to pick up whenever you need it type thing is like amazing. But I don't think enough men get that. Do you know what I mean?
But I think as well, because even though you can have all that, men still don't speak up, do they? Because they think that they can't. But I think that's a part of the brain. That's the brain playing tricks on them, telling you, no, you can't bring your friend. Even though physically they are there and they are inviting you in to always talk. If you ever need anything, ring me. It still doesn't happen, does it? But I think that comes down to the brain.
Again, like going back to like the way that me and my brother was brought up, I might seek help, but he might not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, even though we was brought up the same and we just completely think completely different ways.
Yeah.
So yeah, you completely right with that.
Yeah.
It probably is again like those childhood traumas and the I don't know if you've heard of ACEs.
I don't think so.
So adverse childhood like experiences basically.
Oh, okay.
Adverse early childhood experience, I think it's called, which obviously they're the kind of things that like affect the brain and how the brain develops and those scars that I was talking about before.
Yeah.
That are visibly like able to see on like a monitor when you examine the brain, do you know what I mean? So it could just be the fact that that brain is kind of like, essentially when you experience ACEs and you experience early childhood trauma and stuff, you're effectively giving your brain damage.
Yeah.
That's basically what it's like.
Wow, okay.
So yeah, it probably is just the fact that the brain hasn't kind of developed those extra pathways and stuff to be able to seek help or feel like they can actually speak up about things. Do you know what I mean? When
you think of it like that.
Yeah.
Is that brain surgeon? Is it too late now to become a brain surgeon now, do you think? Is it like, an access course to study it maybe? Maybe not. Before we go, what message would you like to give anyone out there that are struggling right now?
So yeah, I'd just basically advise people to just speak up.
Yeah.
Either join a club like Andy's Man Club or seek help through Movember. A lot of them are up and coming as well. I'm seeing a lot on Instagram now starting up. You've seen that guy Tom Poddo as well. He started doing like a movement in like the parks and stuff like that, hasn't he? So like a lot of men that Davin knew are take part in that as well. And I always say I wish there was something there, because I know that if I'd seen that available or him, that might have really be quite inviting for him. Yeah, I could see him taking part in something like that. That's the thing as well, is like those guys, like Dav's friends. Yeah, they're probably suffering with some sort of mental health or something themselves. Yeah, hence why they've seeked out a community. Do you know what I mean? Of lads. Definitely. It's something that I feel like, obviously I've got my own things going on at the moment, but I feel like I'd love to kind of join and just help them out type thing. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. If I could. Yeah. like moving forward. But yeah, that's another thing that like guys can just like join a community or seek support through like their friends or like family. I mean, and I feel like men won't go to speak to their family as much as they could. Do you know what I mean?
I agree.
And then the likes of Calm.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Well, before we go, I've got you a little present. I didn't tell you about this, but it's behind here. Not a present, but I don't know if it's like probably not your size because you're hench now, aren't you? But just a little hoodie jumper.
Thank you. That's amazing.
The podcast logo. And
no, that's amazing. Thank you.
On the back, it says the feelings have no gender slogan. It's a large. I mean, I don't know.
I should fit into
probably
a large.
An extra large town where your muscles are flexing at the moment. But yeah, that is for you.
I'm coming down in size at the moment, to be fair, but I really shouldn't have because my weighted rocker's feeling very heavy.
Well, here's a little bit of extra weight to add to you. And thank you, by the way, for coming on. I really, really appreciate it. First episode, literally
First
done and
episode
dusted.
in the bag.
I know. I'm actually like, a bit like, oh, okay, when's the next session coming on? But yeah, so that's the end of today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. And if you are needing support, then please reach out, talk to someone. You will always be heard and be listened to. You are loved and you are needed in this world. So thank you.